Three high school students say that they will file a lawsuit if students are not able to take an AP course on African American studies. Attorney Ben Crump has announced that he will represent those students. But Governor DeSantis is defending his rejection of the curriculum, saying it is serving as a political agenda. His office has pointed out 6 sections they say go against state education law. He spoke about the decision this week. Take a listen.
We have guidelines and standards in Florida. We want education, not indoctrination. If you fall on the side of indoctrination, we're going to decline. If it's education, then we will do.
And attorney Trudy Smith talked with Good Day Orlando on our 7 o'clock hour this morning. She supports the governor's block.
I think we've seen over the last few years how parents have been very concerned that their children are not learning facts, not learning how to think critically about those facts, but instead are being taught how and what to think about those facts. And that's really the distinction here. Instead of giving students the tools to critically assess information so they can walk away and form their own opinions, form their own political ideologies, we're seeing that this ideology is being taught in the classroom. And unfortunately, instead of having a diversity of ideologies, we're seeing consistently that it's a particular type of ideologies that's being embedded into our school system.
Well, joining us this morning is State Senator Shervin Jones. He says that he agrees with what the students are fighting for. We do want to say good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start off with this, right? We know this course is being tested in 60 schools all across the country. It's in the pilot stages right now, so some changes could be made right down the road. But what do you think about banning a course like this in our schools now?
Well, I think it's important for us to point out that you can't talk about any type of history, American history, African American history, without talking about the intersectionalities in all of them. But more particularly when we're talking about Black history, which is the fundamental foundation of this country in which we're talking about. The facts that we're speaking of, ideology that we're speaking of, there's no ideology that teachers are actually pushing on children, especially within an AP course where students can opt into this course. By us not allowing them to take these courses, by us inserting our own political agenda into these statements, all it does is continue to convolute this. And I agree with what these students are doing, because these students were already preparing to take these classes, and that was totally slipped from under the rug because of what has been spewed across this state by Governor DeSantis, unfortunately.
What's interesting about this is a lot of times these are things that people talk about they're not happy with, right? But now we're getting to the stages where you have Ben Crump and these students threatening to sue. Does that surprise you that they're now saying, listen, if we are not allowed to take this class, we're going to take it to the next level?
Well, no, I'm actually excited about it. I'm happy that the students came and said that they want to sue the governor in the state of Florida for this, and not adults coming to do it. When Attorney Crump called me and said that I have 3 students who have said that they want to do something about it, they stood up and did it. That, too, will be a part of history. And the history that has happened years ago. It's important that students learn that and understand that, because then now we know how to work with each other, converse with each other, and live amongst each other in this place we call America and Florida, where 22 million people and 22% of African Americans are represented here within the state.
Let's circle back to this, right? So the state announced last week that it was rejecting the course, pointing to 6 specific areas of concern, and some works by Kimberly W. Crenshaw, Bell Hooks, Angela Davis, and other Black authors calling it, quote, woke. I would guess it really does depend, right, on what's taken out or what's left in. But overall, do you think that this will help or hurt education in the long run?
It does hurt education in the long run. If we go back and look at history, we've seen this before. We've seen the banning of books before. We've seen individuals who are leaders to tell individuals what they can and cannot do, what they can and cannot say. And so it's dangerous of this route that we're going down. Angela Davis, Martin Luther King with the letters from the Birmingham jail, these are books that have already been banned from the state of Florida. These were people who were writing from their perspective in history, in time. And the fact that we are snatching this away from students and telling them that in the classroom is not the place where they are able to explore this, it is unbelievable to me. And I'm hoping that we can, as an American people, Democrats and Republicans, can see that all history is important, that we learn it. Whether you are comfortable or uncomfortable with it.
Let's talk about public versus private schools. This is something that's happening in public schools, not necessarily in private schools, right? Private schools can pretty much teach what they want to teach, or would this affect them as well?
No, this is geared towards the public school system. The private schools can continue to do what they want to do, whether they're teaching it or whether they're not teaching it. I've asked in committee many of times, why are we not imposing these same rules on the private school system? Because I know for a fact there's an ulterior motive. The danger in all of this is that Black children within the state of Florida run the risk of going to school every day and not seeing themselves in their education system, and also not being able to see themselves represented in the state in which they live in. It's a dangerous approach that we're taking.
State Senator Shervin Jones, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your views with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. 9:10.